Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. First tonight, pregnant mothers in the northwest are being turned away from giving birth at their sole maternity facility. The AMA is urging the government to immediately bring forward its plans to reinstate the public service inside the regional hospital.
Harrowing accounts of expectant mothers facing an uncertain future have been laid bare.
Women are presenting to Burnie in labour and being told, sorry, we are full. Please keep going to Launceston, or if Launceston's overcrowded, please keep going to Hobart.
The public maternity services inside the Northwest Private Hospital have been pushed to the brink, labelled a medical emergency by the AMA's Tasmanian branch.
The service is overwhelmed, has not sufficient doctors, it does not have sufficient midwives, and it has been on bypass 4 times in the last few months.
A state government review back in 2020 recommended public maternity facilities move back to the Northwest Regional site, but top doctors argue the commitment to transfer is far too slow.
We don't need the private hospital doing services that should be delivered by the public service.
As for the timeline, the government is seemingly confident it struck the right balance to deliver on its promises.
There are further steps to be taken, but they won't be rushed, and the Health Minister and the Department are working carefully through that in a way that's in the genuine best interests of women and their babies.
State Labor less than satisfied with those words, hitting out at the Liberals for what it says is a lack of urgency to act.
We backed the AMA in their call for this to go back to the public service earlier than 2024. We can't wait till then. Something needs to be done now because we are at crisis point.
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
The Commission of Inquiry has stepped into a legal battle between the state government and a prominent whistleblower. They've sought assurances Alicia is being treated fairly, as others call for stronger protection of those who speak out.
One of the loudest voices for change in child safety, whistleblower Alicia has been locked in a workers' compensation battle with the state for 3 years.
I would like them to come to an urgent resolution so that I can try and rest and recover and hope to stick around for my kids.
7 Tasmania News can reveal the Commission of Inquiry have stepped in last year, asking for reassurances from the state's lawyers that they were complying with the Commission of Inquiry Act. It protects whistleblowers against disadvantage or punishment for having given evidence. Solicitor General Sarah Kay gave assurances the state has and will continue to comply with the state's laws and had no intention to disadvantage or punish. Contacted today, a Justice Department spokesperson said they encourage any person to share their experiences with the Commission of Inquiry. The COI itself declined to comment. External lawyers have now been hired to carry on the case for the government. The Premier and other ministers wrote to Alicia last week, saying it would be inappropriate to intervene.
Responsibility squarely sits with the Premier, the Attorney-General and the relevant minister to ensure that this process is safe and appropriate.
The Premier today, reiterating his belief claims should be treated lawfully and fairly, free from any political interference. A leading advocacy organisation has also written to the state government, claiming it has concerns about the case. The Human Rights Law Centre says Tasmania needs stronger whistleblower protections.
Whistleblowers make Australia a better place. We want to be showing them through high-profile cases how whistleblowing issues can be resolved quickly.
Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
The state's police union says a potential shake-up of aerial law enforcement requirements could impact community safety. Current protocols require an officer in the mission control seat at all times, but it's feared that could soon be taken away.
Fighting crime from above, the future of air wing capabilities in the sky could be under threat.
There's a government working group that's looking to renew a contract for the next 10 years. Now, we've got grave concerns that it's going to mean that we, the only state in Australia, that will not have a law enforcement aviation capability.
Police union members are troubled by plans they claim would pull officers out of the mission control seat.
Police officers in that mission control aircrew seat enable us to use the aircraft in a more high-risk situation. So it's the deployment of SAGs, it's the removal of police officers who are under fire in dangerous situations.
Describing it as a backward step.
So it'll increase the risk of injury to our members, which subsequently increases the risk to members of the public. And I just cannot fathom why we're going down this path.
A Tasmania police spokesperson says the new long-term contract will deliver multi-mission helicopters, equipped and crewed to deliver the same capabilities as today.
The Police Association can be reassured, and every Tasmanian, that we'll always have that service, but we'll only ever refine it and take expert advice.
The police union is calling for the release of independent aviation advice. It says the government has been provided with as part of an ongoing project assessing the future of aircraft and crewing requirements in the state.
We will never discontinue those vital services, but there are reviews and contracts that need to be considered.
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
Cancer patient is calling for the state government to step up and respond to our elective surgery wait times. The bowel cancer warrior waited half a year to receive a devastating diagnosis she believes could have been prevented.
Waiting 6 long months to access urgent elective surgery, the difference in diagnosis was dire for Sandra Hodge.
It was terrible at the time and I felt useless. I couldn't do a thing.
After returning a positive bowel screening test in June 2020, Sandra was forced to play the waiting game.
I was supposed to have a colonoscopy and followed up within 30 days. And I waited and waited.
When you don't know whether you've got cancer or not and you're in that limbo position, everything should be done within a government's power to make sure that people can have access to the diagnostic treatment.
It wasn't until January last year Sandra was finally examined.
When they did the operation and did the test on the cancer, they found it was stage 4 by that stage. I wondered if I'd have gone earlier or gone in early and had that colonoscopy, that it would have been an earlier stage.
It is a matter of life or death, and the toll that that takes on you and your family is simply unacceptable. And if the government has the ability to do something about that, then they should.
But the government says Tasmania is bucking trends when it comes to wait times.
Tasmania is the only state in the country which is reversing the trend that every other state is finding where their waiting lists are going up. Ours are coming down, and we'll always do everything we can to support Tasmanians in need.
They probably do care, but I don't think they're doing enough.
The bowel cancer advocate is encouraging Tasmanians to take their health into their own hands.
Even if you haven't had a bowel test, but you feel your body, if there's something even minor, have it checked out.
McKenna Bailey, 7 Tasmania News.
Constrained by a lack of venues, Tasmania's events sector says a Macquarie Point Stadium would be the solution. Industry voices say it could generate $150 million a year and would grow more with a new entertainment precinct.
Our growth is currently stunted because there's not enough venues to cope with the demand from business events, music festivals and so on and so forth.
Having multiple spaces for events will also give us the opportunity to target specific weekends during the year where we know there's a bit of a lull.
There's already a reconciliation park and Antarctic precinct planned for the site, as well as the stadium. Construction has begun on the new Virgin Australia cargo facility at Launceston Airport, set to provide a major boost to local businesses. The Freight Handling Centre will see almost 500,000 kilograms of Tasmanian exports transported to critical markets.
It's absolutely critical that producers can ship their goods and freight from the island to the mainland for domestic and international consumption.
Seafood will be a major component of that, but other fresh products, perishables going in, and that will be, we see it as exporting to both mainland and facilitating further international markets overseas.
Virgin has entered an agreement with Launceston Airport to lease the facility for the next 10 years. The $4 million project is set to be completed by September. A warship designed to safeguard Australia's trade routes is in Tasmania to celebrate the Royal Hobart Regatta's anniversary. The Australian Navy's Anzac-class frigate will also be an impressive backdrop to the Wooden Boat Festival, which starts tomorrow.
A grand welcome for a grand warship. The Royal Australian Navy's HMS Arunda has spent 4 days at sea, leaving its home port in Sydney to commemorate the Royal Hobart Regatta's 185th anniversary.
We did some exercises off the east coast of Australia on the way down, and now we're in for the weekend.
The crew will make its mark on the festivities with a sunset ceremony on Parliament lawns, composed specifically for the regatta. The ship's arrival coinciding with the Wooden Boat Festival, and while it won't be taking part, the Navy's Young Endeavour sail training ship will be.
She's down here supporting the wooden boats as well, and so it's a real great opportunity just to engage with all those Tasmanians.
For 5 crew members, the vessel's visit is a return home.
My entire family's from Hobart, still live here. Even my wife, she was originally from Launceston.
This is the first time I've had the opportunity to come to Tasmania with work, so definitely looking forward to having the opportunity to show my family around the ship.
Tours of the Navy's ships have been banned in past years due to COVID, but come Saturday that will change. The public is being invited onto the Arunda to explore the vessel, meet the crew and learn more about life at sea. It's hoped the open days will attract new Navy recruits.
The adventures that I've had and the experiences I've had are something that you'll never ever get anywhere else.
Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
In the WNCL, Tasmania has continued its winning form, defeating the Scorpions by 6 wickets last night. Captain Elise Villani led the Tigers to victory, cracking an impressive century.
And that brings up the century for the captain. Fantastic, off just 90 balls, raises the bat. Fantastic work for the Tasmanian captain.
The Tigers finished their innings on 4 for 225. The Jack Jumpers are less than 2 hours away from tonight's seeding qualifier against the Taipans at the Cairns Convention Centre. Josh Majet's absence will be felt on the court. The point guard joining the team through video link earlier today before undergoing surgery on his broken cheekbone and fractured eye socket in Hobart.
Obviously thinking about you for this afternoon and good spirits.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, excited for recovery process to start.
It's going to be a collective effort. He's obviously a massive out. It's the first game we've ever played without him, so it'll be a bit of a lesson for us, but we trust Shawnee Mack and Jared Weeks and our bigs to handle the ball and take a bit of that pressure off.
The team is hoping to secure a spot in the top 4 and progress to the playoffs.
Good evening. You're going to have to forgive me. I've had a pretty rough day today. It's getting out there that my favourite collection of striped and very unique football suits have been swiped. Sorry, gone missing. It's not a joke. We have started an intense search, so I do hope that you, the viewer, can look out for them as well. Now, I'm going to try to concentrate on the weather. It's going to be tough. Hobart 23 today, Launceston 22, Devonport 21 and Burnie 19 degrees. On another note, my wife is a prime suspect but denies all knowledge, so I don't know where to go now. Bushy Park, our warmest today with 25 as temperatures sat around or just below average. Waiatina had a nice warmish 24 today. Friendly Beaches and Grove 23, Strawn and Flinders Island 22, King Island and St Helens 21, Lowhead 19, Lyawini 15. The cloud cover reached most of Tasmania today, the heavier cloud through Bass Strait, and that drifted onto the northern parts of the state as well. Cloud with the cyclones there to the east and west. Storms are through the tropics and eastern New South Wales. Tomorrow the cyclones both move further offshore. The monsoon trough continues over the north, with more troughs over southern parts of the mainland. Now, east northeasterly winds will be happening tomorrow to 20 knots over the east and south, with south to southeasterly winds extending throughout in the evening. The forecast for Friday: Hobart a shower or 2 and 23, 24 the top for Huonville, showers for Campania, 24 the maximum. Launceston showers, 25 the top, 23 for Devonport, showers as well for Georgetown with 25. Burnie expecting 22, 24 for Strawn, Wynyard 23, all with a shower or 2. And along the east coast, showers for St Helens, 21, 22 the top for Swansea, Port Arthur 23 degrees. UV though at 10 and at the top of the very high range. On Saturday, mostly fine apart from a light shower. That'll be early over the southeast. Maybe a shower over the west on Sunday, extending to the south and east for a time. And on Monday, fine and partly cloudy for most of the state. A sunny 28 in Perth, fine and warm in Adelaide and Melbourne, a shower or 2 in Sydney, in 30 in Brisbane, and a fine sunny day there. And cloudy conditions across the state at the moment. And of course, the weather suits have been gracing this set for quite a long time now, Kim. And I do thank you for your help as well, for sharing it on Facebook. One of your 250,000 followers might help. But I haven't told you about the reward yet.
They're not worth anything, Murph, not worth anything at all. We do hope they come back, though, seriously. Well, that is all your news for now. Thanks for joining us tonight. Good night.